Why kindness feels like a trap after abuse. When you've survived abuse, genuine kindness can feel like the most terrifying thing in the world. It doesn't register as a gift, it feels like a trick, a setup for more pain. A kind word or a thoughtful gesture doesn't bring comfort. Instead, it triggers a blaring siren in your head, a frantic inner monologue asking, "What do they want from me? What's the angle? When is the other shoe going to drop?" This suspicion isn't paranoia. It's a survival map drawn by your past. Your brain has been meticulously trained to see the smile before the strike, to recognize the gentle hand that later becomes a fist, whether that's literal or metaphorical. If you've ever felt your body tense up in response to warmth, if you've ever wanted to run from someone who is being genuinely good to you, I need you to hear this. You are not broken, you are not ungrateful, and you are not alone. I've been there, in that foxhole of suspicion, and today I'm going to share how I started to learn the difference between a predator in disguise and a person who is truly safe. The invisible war inside. After abuse, it's like you're living in a country where the war has ended, but your nervous system never got the memo. It stays on high alert, scanning the horizon for the next threat. This is called hypervigilance. It's the reason a car backfiring can sound like a gunshot, and it's the reason kindness can feel like a trap. You learn this reaction for a very good reason. In many abusive dynamics, kindness isn't a gift, it's a currency. It's an incredibly effective tool of manipulation. Abusers often use something called intermittent reinforcement, a strategic, unpredictable cycle of cruelty and affection. They devalue you, criticize you, and break you down. And then, just when you're about to shatter, they offer a moment of warmth, a compliment, an apology, a thoughtful gesture. That moment of kindness becomes a powerful, addictive hook. It creates profound confusion and a desperate hope. You cling to those rare moments, telling yourself, "See, this is who they really are. The other stuff was just a mistake." This cycle trains your brain to associate kindness with the pain that always seems to follow. Kindness becomes the bait. The affection is the anchor that holds you in the storm. Over time, this erodes the most fundamental relationship you have, the one with yourself. Your instincts, which were screaming that something was wrong, were constantly denied. You were told you were too sensitive, crazy, or imagining things. This is gaslighting, and its most devastating effect is that you stop trusting your own judgment. Your inner compass is broken. You start to believe your own perceptions are the liars, and your gut feelings are faulty signals. This is the deepest loneliness, not just being isolated from others, but being exiled from your own intuition. The turning point, listening to a different kind of wisdom. So how do you begin to untangle all of this? How do you learn to trust again when your own mind is screaming danger at every turn? For me, the answer didn't come from a book or a therapist's office. It came, surprisingly, from my dog. After I left my abusive situation, I was a ghost. I moved through the world, but I wasn't really in it. I built my walls so high and so thick, I was convinced no one would ever get in again. I kept everyone at a distance. My friendliness was a polite but firm shield. Every person I met was a potential threat, and I was the detective on the case, analyzing their every word, tone, and motive. It was exhausting. During this time, I had my dog, a scruffy, sensitive soul who was my only real anchor. I noticed that he too was a bit of a detective. He was wary of certain people. He'd stand stiffly, his tail low, watching them with a quiet intensity. With others, he was a puddle of fur and happy sighs. One day, I reluctantly agreed to have coffee with a new acquaintance. As we sat down, my internal alarm system was at DEFCON 1. I was tense, my breathing was shallow, and my mind was racing, cataloguing every micro-expression, searching for the lie I was sure was coming. Then, something happened. As this person spoke, gently and without any agenda, my dog, who had been sitting alert at my feet, walked over to them. He rested his head on their knee, and then he let out a deep, contented sigh, the kind of sigh that says, "All is well." In that moment, the war in my head went silent. My mind, with all its trauma-informed analysis, was screaming, threat. But my dog's nervous system was telling me, clear as day, safe. For the first time, I realized there was a source of information I hadn't been listening to, one that couldn't be gaslit or manipulated. It wasn't a magic trick. It was a doorway to a different kind of knowing. Reconnecting with the wisdom of the body. That moment was my first real lesson in what therapists call somatic intelligence, the wisdom of the body. Trauma lives in the body. It's the tension in your shoulders, the knot in your stomach, the shallow breath you don't even realize you're holding. Your thinking brain, the part that uses logic and language, can be tricked. But your body, and an animal's body, responds to something much more fundamental, the state of a nervous system. Dogs, in particular, are masters at this. They have an incredible ability to read us, not just from our body language, but through their sense of smell. Research has shown they can detect the subtle chemical and hormonal shifts that happen when we're stressed. While a manipulative person might be skilled at presenting a calm front, their internal state can be chaotic, and an animal can sometimes pick up on that dysregulation. A genuinely safe person often brings a physiological calm that your traumatized brain might not recognize, but an animal sometimes can. This experience with my dog became a bridge back to trusting myself. It's not a foolproof test for judging character, but it's part of a bigger picture of learning to gather data from more than just your fearful thoughts. Here are the steps that help me. Observe an animal witness. This isn't about letting a dog make your decisions. It's about adding another layer of information. Pay attention to how animals, your pet, a friend's pet, react to people. They're reading an energetic and biological language that you are relearning. Think of their reaction as a data point, not a verdict. Listen to your body's vote. After you spend time with someone, find a quiet moment and check in with your body. Is your stomach clenched or is it soft? Are your shoulders hiked up to your ears, or are they relaxed? Does your breathing feel tight, or does it flow easily? Your body doesn't lie. It keeps a perfect score. Let it have a vote in who you allow into your life. Create a nature buffer. Instead of intense face-to-face meetings like coffee or dinner, suggest a walk in a park. Nature is a natural co-regulator. It calms the nervous system. This can create a wider window of tolerance, allowing you to observe someone and your reaction to them without feeling so overwhelmed. Notice, does their presence add to the peace of the environment, or does it feel jarring? This process isn't about finding perfect people. It's about learning to listen to multiple sources of wisdom, your mind, your body, and the world around you, so you can rebuild your ability to tell the difference between what's truly dangerous and what is finally safe. Healing from abuse isn't about forgetting what happened or pretending you're not scarred. It's a profound rewiring. It's about teaching your brain that while it must scan for danger, it can also learn to recognize safety. You do this by learning a new language of trust, one that's spoken by the body, validated by nature, and sometimes whispered to us by our animal companions. There's a core principle in recovery. What you focus on grows. For so long, you had to focus on the threat to survive. The breakthrough comes when you can start shifting your focus from analyzing past pain to building future safety. Choosing stability, choosing joy, choosing calm. These aren't betrayals of the person you were, who had to endure so much. They are the ultimate act of reclaiming your life. Your ability to trust isn't gone forever. It wasn't a character flaw, it was a casualty of war. But you can reclaim it. You can build a new compass, one that is true and reliable. And you have the power to do that, one safe moment at a time. I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had an experience where an animal, or your own body, showed you something about a person that your mind couldn't see yet? Share your story in the comments. It's in sharing these experiences that we realize we aren't walking this path alone.